President Donald Trump and the GOP are hitting the panic button. After a week of holding back, Trump on Twitter disputed the credibility of Christine Blasey Ford's sexual assault allegation against Brett Kavanaugh on Friday. It's a setback for Republicans who had welcomed Trump's self-restraint about a scandal that threatens to bring down his Supreme Court nominee. Trump's speculation about why Ford didn't report her alleged high school-era assault if it was as bad as she says comes just hours after a close Kavanaugh ally sought to implicate another classmate of the nominee and Ford in the attack on her, a Kavanaugh exoneration theory hotly anticipated by the GOP that landed with a deafening thud. The one-two punch of Trump and prominent conservative lawyer Ed Whelan's unsuccessful attempts to undercut Ford and boost Kavanaugh leaves the GOP effort to confirm the 53-year-old appeals court judge in fresh peril after a week of roller coaster talks about potential public testimony by his 51-year-old accuser, a California-based professor. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley's, Republican Iowa, staff is in talks with Ford's attorneys about a hearing sometime next week, but it's not clear whether the GOP is ready to meet the conditions requested by her camp during a Thursday night call. And Trump's commentary may not help those negotiations with Ford's camp. I have no doubt that, if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, charges would have been immediately filed with local law enforcement authorities by either her or her loving parents, the president wrote on Twitter. I ask that she bring those filings forward so that we can learn date, time, and place. Trump had steered clear of passing judgment on Ford's allegation all week long, giving judiciary Republicans political space to hair out Ford before pressing ahead, but then previewed his Friday morning line of attack on Thursday night. I don't think you can delay it any longer. I think they have delayed it a week already, Trump said of the committee's confirmation process. Republicans said that their party is now more likely to accommodate Ford's attorneys' requests for testimony next week after the president's broadside, given the lack of compassion that showed toward an alleged victim. She's asked for one camera, subpoenas of other witnesses, to not be in the same room as Kavanaugh and to testify after him. The issue is that the compassion component is now turned on its head because you have the president filling the airwaves with something that is not compassionate, said a plugged-in former Republican leadership aide. People will go out of their way now to be much more accommodating to unreasonable requests than they were yesterday. That Republican said he was still confident Kavanaugh will be confirmed but admitted it just became more challenging for GOP leaders. It obviously makes their job more difficult, but I think they are capable of doing it. But a Republican close to the confirmation process described Trump's comments as a necessary shift of tone to put the White House back on offense for Kavanaugh. This is getting ridiculous. The president had to step in. One Republican close to the confirmation process described Trump's comments as a necessary shift of tone to put the White House back on offense for Kavanaugh. This is getting ridiculous. The president had to step in. You've watched the fight. You've watched the tactics, but here's what I want to tell you, in the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will on the United States Supreme Court, said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, on Friday amidst Trump's tweets. Keep the faith, don't get rattled by all of this, we're going to plow right through it and do our job. More injurious than Trump's wading into the drama, however, was the bid by the judge's friend and influential conservative Ed Whelan to clear Kavanaugh's name. Whelan, president of the right-leaning Ethics and Public Policy Center, had heavily forecast new information about Ford's allegation that emerged as a series of tweets trying to blame another man, who supports Kavanaugh, for the alleged assault. The Senate GOP had been in touch with Whelan about his theory, and though they were unaware of the details there was some excitement that Kavanaugh's name could be cleared this week. Whelan's attempt backfired spectacularly and he sought to apologize for it on Friday. I was very surprised to see it happen the way it did. I thought there was a plan, said one Republican aide. The timing and method of dispersing the information was way past underwhelming. Republicans had been looking to Whelan as a credible defender of Kavanaugh's, given his central position in defending the president's nominees and advocating for a more conservative court. People working to confirm Kavanaugh said Whelan's credibility is now shot. Democrats, for their part, see any potential hearing next week as an opportunity to get more details on whether Kavanaugh as well as other Senate Republican offices conferred in advance with Whelan on his misguided exoneration attempt. Christopher Cadelago and Ramzan Shannon contributed to this report.